hug lasts 3 seconds, sometimes less, and yet somehow, out of every touch, every conversation, every moment you'll ever share with someone, that single embrace can be the one thing she replays in her mind for weeks. Why does something so brief carry so much weight? Most men treat a hug as a formality, a quick, mechanical gesture to get through before the real interaction begins. Arms up, pat on the back, release. But the Stoics understood something modern men have forgotten entirely, that presence is not measured in duration, it is measured in attention. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. In that brief embrace, whatever you are actually thinking about, her, the moment, or your phone, your dinner plans, your next sentence, becomes the color she feels against her. Here is what most men get wrong. They rush the hug because they're nervous, or worse, because they've never considered that a hug is even something worth being present for. But a hug is not a transition. It is not the thing that happens between saying hello and starting a conversation. For a few seconds, it is the entire conversation, spoken without a single word. Epictetus, who spent years enslaved before earning his freedom and becoming one of Rome's most respected teachers, taught that it is not what happens to us, but our response to it, that defines us. Apply that here. Anyone can put their arms around someone. What defines the moment is your response, whether you're fully there or already somewhere else. So what does actually being present in a hug look like? It's simple, though almost no one does it. You don't rush in. You let a half-second pass, a small pause that says, "I noticed you," before you close the distance. Your hold isn't stiff or hesitant, but it isn't grabbing either. It is steady, warm, and unhurried, present in the way that most men aren't present for anything anymore. And when you pull back, you don't yank away like you've completed a task. You let the release be as intentional as the hold, because how something ends is often what people remember most clearly. Seneca wrote to his friend Lucilius that we are shaped not by grand events, but by how we handle small, ordinary moments. This is exactly why a hug can outlast conversations that lasted an hour. A long conversation gives her many things to remember. A hug gives her exactly one impression, and impressions, unlike words, are almost impossible to argue yourself out of later. If it felt safe, calm, and genuinely present, that feeling stays lodged somewhere words can't quite reach. Here is the paradox. The men most desperate to be memorable are usually the ones trying hardest in the wrong moments, the loud jokes, the elaborate plans, the performance. But the moment that actually lingers, the hug, requires almost nothing except the one thing most men refuse to give freely: undivided attention. Not calculated, not strategic, just genuinely, fully there for 3 unremarkable seconds. Marcus Aurelius never chased being remembered. He simply gave whatever he was doing his complete attention, whether it was ruling an empire or writing a private note to himself at midnight. That undivided presence, more than any grand gesture, is what actually stays with people, because it's rare and because everyone can feel the difference between being touched and being truly met. So the next time your arms go around her, forget the nerves. Forget what to say next. Just be there, fully, for those 3 seconds. Because long after the conversation fades, long after the plans are forgotten, that is the moment she'll still be able to feel.